The research station Zelnara floated in the darkness between star systems, its crystalline hull shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed like a heartbeat. Inside its sterile corridors, Dr. Zara Velthani adjusted her neural interface headband for the 100th time that day. Her elongated fingers, ending in delicate sensor pads, trembled with nervous energy as she reviewed the data streams flowing across her holographic displays. "This cannot be accurate," she whispered to herself, her voice carrying the melodic tones typical of her species, the Velnathi. Her large, iridescent eyes, capable of seeing across 17 different light spectrums, focused intensely on the biological readings before her. The Velnathi had been the galaxy's premier xenobiologists for over 3 millennia. Their society was built around the study and cataloging of life forms across known space. They prided themselves on understanding every species they encountered, from the simplest microorganisms to the most complex sentient beings. But these readings from the newly discovered species called humans defied everything they thought they knew about male biological systems. Commander Lisa Quindar entered the laboratory, her military-grade exoskeleton clicking softly against the floor. Unlike Zara's more delicate build, Lisa represented the warrior caste of their species, taller, with reinforced bone structure and natural armor plating along her arms and spine. Her silver-white skin bore the ceremonial scarification of her rank. "Dr. Velthani, the Council demands an update on the human specimens," Lisa announced, though her tone carried more curiosity than authority. "The preliminary reports have caused quite a stir among the research committees." Zara turned to face her, and Lisa noticed the scientist's usual composed demeanor seemed shaken. "Commander, I've run the scans 17 times using different equipment arrays. The results are consistent, but they challenge fundamental assumptions about male biology across the galaxy." "Explain," Lisa said, moving closer to examine the holographic displays herself. "Every species we've encountered follows the standard biological template," Zara began, manipulating the hologram to show comparative anatomy charts. "Males are typically smaller, more fragile, designed primarily for genetic contribution and domestic support. They require protection, specialized environments, and careful handling due to their delicate nature." She gestured to display after display showing various alien species: the Kitharan males with their paper-thin skin and hollow bones, the Zephyrian males who required constant temperature regulation to survive, the mighty Gorlaxian males who, despite their species' reputation as warriors, were themselves barely the size of Velnathi children. "But these humans—" Zara's voice trailed off as she activated a new set of displays. The holographic human male rotated slowly before them, and Lisa felt her respiratory system skip a cycle. The creature was massive, not just tall, but broad and dense with muscle mass that seemed impossible for a male to possess. Its bone structure appeared incredibly robust, designed for impact and stress that would kill most males of any species. "The skeletal density is off the charts," Zara continued, her voice growing more animated. "Their muscle-to-body mass ratio suggests they're built for heavy labor, combat, and extreme physical stress. Look at these readings from their cardiovascular system. It's designed to sustain intense activity for extended periods." Lisa stared at the display, feeling a strange sensation she couldn't quite identify. "Perhaps the scans are showing us a female specimen by mistake?" "That's what I thought initially," Zara replied, pulling up another display. "But the genetic markers are definitively male, and here's the most shocking part." She manipulated the display to show comparative population statistics. In human society, these males don't live in protected environments. They don't require special handling. In fact, according to our cultural observations, they often serve as protectors and defenders of their females. The concept was so alien that Lisa's mind struggled to process it. In every civilized society across the galaxy, females were the strong ones, the warriors, the protectors. Males were precious resources to be safeguarded and cherished, kept safe from the dangers of the universe. The idea of males as protectors was like suggesting water could flow upward. "Show me their behavioral patterns," Lisa commanded, though her voice had lost its military edge and taken on the tone of someone deeply fascinated. Zara activated a series of recorded observations from long-range surveillance. The holographic display showed human males engaged in various activities: construction work involving massive machinery, competitive physical contests that would hospitalize most alien males, and most shocking of all, military combat situations. "They fight," Lisa breathed, watching a recording of human soldiers in action. "They actually engage in direct combat." "Not just fight," Zara corrected, her excitement growing. "They excel at it. Their reaction times, their tactical thinking under pressure, their physical resilience, it's unprecedented for males of any species." As they watched, a human male in the recording lifted a piece of equipment that Lisa knew would require 3 Velnathi females working together to move. He did it casually, as if it weighed nothing. "Dr. Velthani," Lisa said slowly, "what are the implications if we establish formal first contact with this species?" Zara's eyes widened further, a sign of deep thought among her people. "Commander, I believe we need to completely rethink our understanding of gender roles and biological capability. If human males are truly this robust and capable, and if this is normal for their species—" She manipulated the display to show projections and theoretical models. "Our entire diplomatic protocol assumes we'll be dealing with fragile males who need protection and accommodation. Our cultural exchange programs, our trade agreements, our alliance structures, everything is built around the assumption that we'll be the protectors in any relationship." Lisa found herself pacing, her exoskeleton's servos whirring softly with each step. "But if their males are warriors, if they're as physically capable as their females—" "More capable, actually," Zara interrupted quietly. "The scans suggest human males possess greater upper body strength and bone density than human females, though the females show their own remarkable capabilities compared to other species standards." The 2 Velnathi stood in stunned silence, contemplating the implications. Everything they thought they knew about the natural order of the universe seemed to be crumbling around them. "There's more," Zara said finally, her voice almost a whisper. "I've been analyzing their cultural transmissions, their entertainment media, their historical records. Human males don't just participate in their society's protection. They often lead it. They've been explorers, inventors, warriors, leaders. They take risks that would be considered insane for any male in our understanding." Lisa moved closer to the displays, studying the human male anatomy with new eyes. "Dr. Velthani, I need you to prepare a detailed report for the Council. But more than that, I want to request permission for direct contact." "Direct contact?" Zara's surprise was evident. "Commander, we haven't even established whether they're hostile, and if these males are as physically capable as they appear—" "That's exactly why we need to know more," Lisa replied, her military training asserting itself. "If this species represents a fundamental shift in our understanding of biology and society, we need to be prepared. We can't let our assumptions put us at a disadvantage." Zara nodded slowly, then seemed to remember something. "Commander, there's one more thing that might interest you. I've been analyzing their pair bonding patterns." She activated a new display showing human social structures. "In most species, males compete for the attention and selection of females, who choose mates based on genetic quality and capacity for child rearing. But humans—" The display showed various human interactions, couples, families. Human females seem to actively seek out the strongest, most capable males. And these males— She highlighted several examples. They often compete with each other for female attention through displays of strength, courage, and capability. Lisa felt that strange sensation again, stronger this time. It was like discovering gravity could work in reverse or that stars could burn cold. Everything she thought she understood about natural selection and social order was being challenged. "Commander," Zara said, noticing Lisa's expression, "are you feeling well? Your bio readings are showing unusual patterns." Lisa realized she had been staring at the holographic human male with an intensity that was probably noticeable. She forced herself to look away, feeling heat spreading through her exoskeleton's cooling system. "I'm fine, Doctor, just processing the implications of this discovery." She straightened, reasserting her military bearing. "Prepare your report. I'll be recommending to the Council that we expedite first contact protocols." As Lisa left the laboratory, she couldn't shake the images of those impossibly strong, capable human males from her mind. For the first time in her life, she found herself questioning not just scientific assumptions, but something deeper, something about her own responses and reactions that she didn't quite understand. Behind her, Zara continued to study the data, but she too found her thoughts drifting in unexpected directions. The galaxy was about to become a much more complicated place. The diplomatic cruiser Harmony's Edge emerged from hyperspace 3 days later, carrying the most diverse first contact team the Galactic Council had ever assembled. News of the human discovery had spread through the academic and military communities like wildfire, creating an unprecedented demand for inclusion in the mission. Captain Nyx Shadow Dancer of the Umbral Collective paced the bridge with fluid grace, her dark, semi-translucent form rippling with barely contained energy. The Umbral were known for their emotional control and analytical minds, but even Nyx found herself unusually agitated as they approached the human homeworld. "Captain," called Sub-Commander Vera Brightscale from the communications station. The young Draconian's scaled hide shimmered with nervous golden hues as she monitored the incoming data streams. "We're receiving the humans' response to our contact request." "Put it through," Nyx commanded, her voice carrying the whisper-soft tones of her species. The main display activated, and suddenly the bridge fell silent. The human male who appeared on screen was exactly as the reports had described, yet seeing one in real-time motion was entirely different. Captain James Morrison of the Earth Defense Force filled the frame with his presence, his broad shoulders and confident bearing radiating an authority that most species associated exclusively with females. "Greetings," he said, his deep voice resonating through the ship's audio systems. "I'm Captain Morrison, representing Earth's First Contact Protocol Division. We're honored by your visit and look forward to peaceful exchanges between our civilizations." Vera's claws scratched against her console as she struggled to maintain composure. As a Draconian, she was accustomed to being one of the larger, more physically imposing species in any gathering. But this human male appeared as if he could stand toe-to-toe with a Draconian warrior, and that was just his normal, unthreatening appearance. "Respond," Nyx ordered, but noticed her own voice had become even softer than usual. Dr. Kira Luminous from the Stellar Confederation stepped forward. Her crystalline form caught the bridge lighting and scattered it in rainbow patterns across the walls. The Stellar Confederation prided themselves on being the galaxy's diplomats, their crystalline bodies able to shift colors to reflect emotional states and facilitate communication. "Greetings, Captain Morrison," Kira began, but her crystalline matrix flickered with colors that had never appeared in diplomatic protocols. Bright oranges and deep purples swirled through her form, colors associated with confusion, fascination, and something the Stellar Confederation had no official term for. "We come in peace, representing multiple species interested in cultural exchange. We hope to learn about your civilization and share knowledge of our own." Captain Morrison smiled, and several females on the bridge felt their respiratory systems react in ways they couldn't explain. The expression was warm and confident, lacking the submissive or deferential qualities they expected from males. "Excellent," Morrison replied. "We've prepared a reception area in our orbital station. However, I should warn you that our environment might seem unusual compared to what you're used to. We understand that in most galactic civilizations, special accommodations are made for male comfort and safety." Nix exchanged glances with her officers. That was exactly the opposite of what they had expected to hear. "Captain Morrison," Nix said, stepping into the communication field, "we appreciate your concern, but our males are safely housed in our ship's protected sectors. They won't be participating in the initial contact." There was a pause, and Morrison's expression shifted to what appeared to be confusion. "I'm sorry. I think there might be a translation error. Our delegation will include both male and female representatives. We don't typically separate by gender for diplomatic functions." The bridge erupted in barely contained whispers and gasps. Dr. Kira's crystalline form flashed bright red, the color of shock and disbelief. You're allowing your males to participate directly in first contact protocols?" Vera asked, her voice higher than normal. Morrison's confusion deepened. "Of course. Why wouldn't we? Some of our best diplomats and scientists are male. In fact, our lead xenobiologist is eager to meet your species." Before anyone could respond, another human entered the camera's field of view. Dr. Michael Chen moved with the easy confidence of someone accustomed to being in charge of important situations. His presence filled the screen alongside Morrison, and the aliens watching couldn't help but notice there was no deference in his body language, no indication that he considered himself in need of protection. "Ladies," Dr. Chen said, addressing the camera directly, "I'm Dr. Chen, and I have to say, this is the most exciting day in human history. We've been hoping to encounter other intelligent life for centuries." Engineer Third Class Zoe Metalweaver, watching from her station, felt her magnetic field generators fluctuate. As a member of the ferromagnetic collective, her species communicated partially through electromagnetic fields, and she was experiencing field patterns she'd never encountered before. Her species' males were delicate creatures who required specially shielded environments to protect their sensitive nervous systems from electromagnetic interference. Yet this human male stood casually next to complex electronic equipment that would overwhelm any ferromagnetic male within seconds. "Dr. Chen," Captain Nix said carefully, "we're curious about your species' social structure. Do your males require special protection or accommodation?" Both humans on the screen looked genuinely puzzled. Morrison and Chen exchanged glances before Morrison answered. "Protection from what? We're all trained for deep space operations. Standard safety protocols apply to everyone regardless of gender." "But surely your males need protection from physical threats, dangerous environments, psychological stress?" Dr. Kira pressed, her crystalline form now cycling through colors so rapidly it was almost hypnotic. Dr. Chen laughed, a rich, warm sound that somehow made several aliens on the bridge feel lighter. "Dr. Kira, I've spent the last 3 years working in asteroid mining operations, studying mineral compositions in zero-gravity environments while dodging space debris. Before that, I was doing field research in Earth's deep ocean trenches. If anything, I probably need protection from my wife's reaction when she finds out I volunteered for another dangerous assignment." The casual way he mentioned physical danger, as if it were a normal part of his existence, sent waves of incomprehension through the alien crew. Sub-Commander Vera leaned forward. "Captain Morrison, would it be possible to observe your males in their natural habitat? We're xenobiologists, and would be fascinated to study their behavioral patterns." Morrison's smile became slightly amused. "Sub-Commander, Our males in their natural habitat are probably working construction on the orbital platform, running security patrols, or in the research labs. They're not really in habitat so much as they are, well, everywhere, doing everything. As if to prove his point, the camera angle shifted slightly, and they could see through a window behind the humans. Outside, clearly visible through the station's transparent aluminum walls, human males were working in spacesuits, maneuvering massive structural components with precision and apparent ease. Lieutenant Commander Scylla Voidborn of the Cosmic Wanderer Fleet felt her gravity manipulation organs fluctuate involuntarily. Her species controlled gravitational fields naturally, and she prided herself on her precision and control. But watching those human males work in the vacuum of space, handling equipment that would challenge even Cosmic Wanderer females, was affecting her concentration in ways she couldn't understand. "Captain Morrison," she said, her voice carrying the harmonic resonances of her species, "would your males be willing to demonstrate their capabilities? We're having difficulty reconciling your descriptions with our understanding of male biology." "Sure," Morrison replied easily. "Dr. Chen, want to show them the new gravity training facility?" "Absolutely," Chen replied, moving off camera for a moment before returning with what appeared to be a massive piece of equipment. He lifted it easily as if it weighed nothing, though the strain gauges visible on the device indicated it was several hundred kilograms. "This is our latest gravitational adjustment apparatus," Chen explained casually, rotating the device in his hands. "We use it to help new personnel adapt to varying gravity conditions on different worlds." Scylla's gravitational control organs completely destabilized, and she had to grab onto her console to prevent herself from floating away as her unconscious gravity manipulation went haywire. How is he holding that without assistance?" she whispered. "Dr. Chen," Captain Nick said, her voice now barely audible even by umbral standards, "are you considered exceptionally strong among your males?" Chen looked thoughtful. "Well, I do work out regularly, but I'd say I'm pretty average. Morrison here could probably handle twice this weight. He's ex-military." Morrison shrugged modestly. "Marines," he said, as if that explained everything. The alien females stared in growing amazement as these human males casually discussed feats of strength that would be remarkable for the strongest females of most species. "We need to see this for ourselves," Dr. Kira announced suddenly, her crystalline form now glowing with determination. "Captain Nix, request permission to dock." "Captain Morrison," Nix said, "would it be possible for a small delegation to visit your station? We're very interested in, cultural exchange." "Of course," Morrison replied. "We'll prepare a reception. Fair warning, though, our station runs on standard human protocols. There aren't any special accommodations for male comfort because, well, our males don't need them." As the communication ended, the alien females on the bridge found themselves in an unprecedented situation. For the first time in their species' histories, they were about to encounter males who were not only unafraid of the wider universe, but who actively explored it, shaped it, and protected it. "Captain," Vera said quietly, "what do we do if everything we believe about males is wrong?" Nix looked around at her crew, scientists, warriors, and explorers from a dozen different species, all of whom looked simultaneously terrified and fascinated by what they had just witnessed. "We learn," she said simply, "and we prepare ourselves for the possibility that the universe just became much more interesting." The docking procedures took longer than expected, primarily because the alien delegation kept requesting additional scans of the human station. What they found continued to shatter their preconceptions about male capabilities. Commander Lysa Quindar stood in the airlock antechamber, her exoskeleton's defensive systems running continuous diagnostic checks. Behind her, the most accomplished females from 6 different species shifted nervously, each trying to process what they were about to experience. "Remember," she addressed the group. "We are dealing with a species that appears to defy all known biological patterns. Stay alert, but avoid showing fear or aggression. We don't yet understand their social dynamics." Dr. Elena Starweaver of the Psychic Collective nodded, her translucent blue skin shimmering with the neural patterns that allowed her species to sense emotions and thoughts. "Commander, I've been monitoring the ambient psychic energy from their station. It's unlike anything I've encountered. Their males project confidence, protectiveness, and something else I can't identify." "What kind of something else?" asked Major Tessa Ironforge of the Mountain Clan Confederacy. The stocky, powerfully built dwarf-like alien adjusted her ceremonial warhammer nervously. In her culture, males were fragile scholars who remained safely in mountain strongholds, while females ventured forth as warriors and diplomats. "It's difficult to explain," Elena replied, her psychic tendrils shifting color with uncertainty. "It's as if they're naturally inclined to shield and protect, but not from a position of weakness. It's more like predators choosing to be gentle." The airlock cycled open with a soft hiss, revealing a reception chamber that immediately challenged their expectations. Instead of the sterile, protected environment typically prepared for male interaction, they found themselves looking at what appeared to be a normal working area of the station. 3 human males stood waiting to greet them, and the immediate impact was overwhelming. Captain Morrison they had seen before, but in person his physical presence was even more striking. Beside him stood Dr. Chen, and a third human introduced as Chief Engineer Rodriguez, who, despite being in his 50s, radiated the kind of competence and strength that most species associated with their greatest female leaders. "Welcome aboard Aurora Station," Morrison said, stepping forward with his hand extended in the human gesture of greeting. "We're honored to have you here." Commander Lisa approached cautiously, extending her own hand to complete the gesture. The moment their hands touched, she nearly stumbled. Morrison's grip was firm but careful, clearly modulated to avoid causing discomfort, but the underlying strength was impossible to miss. Her exoskeleton's pressure sensors registered that he could easily have crushed her armored glove if he had chosen to apply more force. "The honor is ours," she managed to say, though her voice carried a tremor that surprised her. Dr. Elena stepped forward next, and as her psychic tendrils made contact with the human's emotional signatures, her entire body flashed brilliant white, the Psychic Collective's equivalent of fainting. She stumbled backward, caught by Major Tessa, who looked alarmed. "Elena, what happened?" The psychic recovered quickly, but her skin continued to shimmer with unusual patterns. "They're so alive," she whispered. "Their emotional signature is like standing next to a star. There's no fear, no submission, no need for protection. They feel responsible for everyone around them, but from a position of strength, not obligation." Dr. Chen approached with obvious concern. "Is she all right? Should we call our medical team?" The casual offer of assistance from a male to a group of females caused another wave of disorientation through the delegation. Major Tessa found herself staring at Dr. Chen as if he were some exotic creature that had just offered to carry her weapons for her. "She'll be fine," Lisa said quickly. "Dr. Starweaver's species is naturally empathic. Your emotional patterns are apparently quite intense." "Ah," Chief Engineer Rodriguez nodded understandingly. "Would it help if we explained what you're sensing? We've learned to work with empathic species before, though we've never encountered one quite like Dr. Starweaver." As the group moved deeper into the station, the aliens found themselves constantly amazed by the casual integration they witnessed. Human males worked alongside human females in every capacity imaginable. They operated heavy machinery, commanded work crews, made critical decisions, and moved through potentially dangerous areas as if it were the most natural thing in the universe. Lieutenant Zara Swiftwind of the Aerial Communes, a species of winged humanoids where males were too fragile to fly in anything but perfect weather conditions, stopped dead in her tracks when she saw a human male pilot preparing for departure in what her instruments told her was a high-performance combat vessel. "He's going to fly that?" she asked in disbelief. "Lieutenant Parker is one of our best pilots," Morrison confirmed. "He's logged over 10,000 hours in deep space reconnaissance. But the stress forces, the radiation exposure, the psychological strain of solo deep space flight are well within human male tolerances," Dr. Chen finished gently. "Lieutenant, I don't mean to be presumptuous, but it seems like your species have very different assumptions about male capabilities than we do." Dr. Kira Luminous, who had been quietly analyzing everything with her species' systematic approach to data gathering, finally spoke up. "Dr. Chen, in our experience, males across the galaxy are universally more fragile than females, smaller, weaker, requiring protection and special accommodation. Your species appears to be a complete anomaly." "Or maybe," Chief Engineer Rodriguez suggested thoughtfully, "your galaxy's evolutionary paths were the anomaly, and we're closer to what's normal." The suggestion hung in the air like a revelation. The idea that their entire understanding of biology and social order might be the exception rather than the rule was staggering. As they toured the station, more incidents accumulated. They watched human males perform maintenance tasks in zero gravity that would require protective equipment for most alien males. They observed heated but friendly debates between male and female human scientists, where the males expressed opinions confidently and challenged ideas without any apparent fear of overstepping social boundaries. But perhaps the most shocking moment came when the tour reached the station's recreational facility. A group of off-duty humans, both male and female, were engaged in various physical activities. The alien delegation watched in amazement as human males competed directly with human females in tests of strength, speed, and coordination. Major Tessa, whose people viewed physical competition as something males simply couldn't survive, watched a human male win a wrestling match against a human female who appeared to be a trained athlete. "How is he not injured?" she whispered. "Humans are sexually dimorphic, but not in the extreme way most galactic species are," Dr. Chen explained, having overheard. "Our males and females are different, but we're built for the same basic environmental challenges." "But why?" asked Captain Lisa. "What evolutionary pressure created males who could survive alongside females instead of requiring protection?" Dr. Chen and Morrison exchanged glances before Morrison answered. "Earth is a dangerous planet. Predators, natural disasters, hostile environments. Our species survived because everyone, male and female, could fight, work, and adapt. We couldn't afford to have half our population be too fragile to contribute to survival." The implications hit the alien delegation like a wave. Their civilizations had evolved on worlds stable enough that they could afford to have specialized, protected males. But humans had evolved in conditions that demanded universal strength and adaptability. As the tour concluded, Dr. Elena approached Commander Lisa privately. "Commander, I need to report something that might be of critical importance." "What is it, Doctor?" "I've been monitoring the emotional interactions between our species and theirs. Commander, I believe several of our delegation members are experiencing what I can only describe as attraction to these human males." Lisa felt her exoskeleton's cooling systems activate automatically. "That's impossible. Cross-species attraction is rare enough, but attraction to males is normal for humans," Elena interrupted gently. "Their females are naturally attracted to male strength and capability. And, Commander, I think some of our people are responding to the same qualities, even though we've never encountered them in males before." As if to prove Elena's point, They noticed Major Tessa engaged in animated conversation with Chief Engineer Rodriguez about engineering techniques. The normally reserved warrior was laughing at something he said, her usual stern demeanor completely transformed. Similarly, Dr. Akira's crystalline form was cycling through colors that indicated intense interest as she discussed scientific methods with Dr. Chen, while Lieutenant Zara was asking detailed questions about flight techniques from the human pilot they had met earlier. This changes everything, Lisa realized. Not just our understanding of biology, but our entire approach to interspecies relationships. As the delegation prepared to return to their ship, Captain Morrison addressed them directly. "We hope this has been informative for all of us. We're looking forward to continued exchanges between our civilizations." "Captain Morrison," Commander Lisa said formally, "would it be possible to arrange for extended cultural exchanges? Our scientists would benefit greatly from studying your species' unique evolutionary path." Morrison smiled. "We'd welcome that. In fact, several of our people have expressed interest in learning about your civilizations as well." As they passed through the airlock back to their ship, each alien female found herself looking back at the human males one more time. They were returning to their ships with data that would revolutionize galactic understanding of biology and society, but they were also returning with something else. A new appreciation for what males could be when they weren't limited by biological fragility. Dr. Elena paused at the threshold. "Captain Morrison, may I ask you something personal?" "Of course. How does it feel to be strong enough to protect others instead of needing protection yourself?" Morrison considered the question seriously. "I suppose it feels like responsibility. We don't see strength as something that makes us superior. We see it as something that obligates us to help others, whether that's protecting our families, supporting our communities, or exploring dangerous places so others don't have to." As the airlock sealed behind them, the alien females found themselves in an unprecedented situation. They had discovered a species that challenged everything they thought they knew about the universe, and in the process, they had discovered things about themselves they hadn't known existed. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would they.